Please stay right where you are because it's time for GeorgiaCarry.org Radio with Doug and Jesse King. GeorgiaCarry.org is Georgia's no-compromise voice for gun owners. Stay tuned for valuable information on protecting your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. And now, your hosts for GeorgiaCarry.org Radio, Doug and Jesse King.
Welcome, everybody. You're listening to GeorgiaCarry.org Radio, and this morning we have Mr. Chuck Turney with us talking about things that are going on with the Georgia Carry Board and with the upcoming convention. And this is a great opportunity. The convention is that one time a year where Georgia Carry gets together as a group, statewide, as people come together from Valdosta and Augusta and Savannah and every which way that they can come in order to get together and have this big opportunity to talk with each other, to hear great speakers, to get involved. There's a vendor display. There are people talking in small group topics. I had the pleasure and privilege last year of being able to speak at one of the small group topics, and it was a blast. I had just it was the most exciting time I've had in front of an audience in a long time because people were so engaged and so excited.
The room was packed out.
It was. It was really a great opportunity. So, Mr. Turney, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate you being here.
Glad to be here.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about this year's convention. I know that you're involved in some of the planning and some of the pre-sales, too.
Sure. The 2015 convention is going to be pretty much a mirror of the other conventions we've done in the past. We do it annually, of course, and it's always at the Waverly Hotel and Convention Center there in Atlanta. Great venue, lots of space for us. They're always very helpful. They give us discounted room rates for the members that are attending, that kind of thing. So it's just a great venue for us. But what we do is we start off Friday night, and we do a Friday night dinner. We have registration starting at 3:30 on Fridays, goes till 8 o'clock. And then we do a Friday night dinner there in the ballroom, just an hors d'oeuvres type dinner, a light dinner. Mm-hmm. And then we also have our annual Texas Hold'em poker tournament, which is a free tournament for anybody attending the event to enter into. And there's no money involved or anything like that. It's a bragging rights tournament. And the top three finishers in the tournament get a mug with 2015 Georgia Carry tournament champion, that kind of thing.
Oh, very cool.
And so that just some good bragging rights, a lot of good camaraderie, a lot of good table talk, and folks having a great time. We also Friday night have our airsoft zombie shoot, which is always real popular, and the zombie shoot runs throughout the weekend and in different areas. And what we do is we have an airsoft shooting range set up, and we have zombie targets, and you use airsoft, which is like a plastic pellet pistol, and use the airsoft pistol, and you pay $10 and you get 10 shots, and for every zombie you knock down, you get a ticket for a bucket raffle.
I've done this before.
You put your name on that ticket, and then you choose. There'll be a variety of different donated items. From there's a pistol that's donated, that's part of the bucket raffle, and all sorts of other things. And you put your tickets in what you want to be drawn for.
I've done this before, Chuck.
A lot of good competition with that. A lot of people having a great time and killing some zombies.
So we've all wanted to shoot zombies, and I know Jesse was just saying.
I played zombie paintball one time.
Really?
Yeah, and it was people dressed up like zombies, and you shoot them with the paintball guns.
That sounds
there's a lot of headshots.
Yeah. And so you say that there's a couple of different prizes for the zombie raffle?
Yeah, we always have, there's always 15 prizes involved, with one of them being a pistol that is donated by one of our great sponsors. Sharpshooters USA is donating that pistol again this year. And then there's also a variety of other prizes that are donated also by an ophthalmologist in Tifton, Georgia, Dr. Larry Mormon and his wife. They donate the other 14 prizes.
Wow.
And it's always something shooting related, that kind of thing. There's headsets, there's tannerite, all sorts of different things. And the key is being strategic with the tickets you win, because if you notice that all of the tickets are going into the pistol bucket, well, your chances of winning that aren't as great. So you want to put some of your tickets in some of the other things too that you may want, like the Tannerite set, or there's gun cases and pistol vaults and all sorts of other stuff.
So all of this is going on Friday night. That's
Friday night, and well, actually, the zombie shoot goes on all weekend. We do that Friday night during the poker tournament. It's also set up during the vendor show in the same area that the vendor show is going on Saturday, and I'll talk about the vendor show in a minute. And it goes during cocktail hour also, preceding the banquet on Saturday night. So it's pretty much going on all weekend long, and that way everybody gets a chance to get in there, because sometimes the line can get pretty long, because it is a kick in the pants fun.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so that starts off with the dinner and the poker tournament on Friday, so then we roll into Saturday. This is a 3-day event. Right.
It's a 2-day event. Sunday morning, there's some folks that get together for breakfast and then talk a little bit and head out, but there's no real scheduled events happening Sunday morning. So it's a full 2 days, though, a very full 2 days.
Okay.
Saturday morning, we have registration open again at 7 a.m., and we have our vendor show that starts, I think the vendor show starts at 9 o'clock, I believe. Maybe 8 o'clock. I'd have to go back and verify, but it's all listed on our website. Mm-hmm. We have the vendor show Saturday morning also, and that goes Saturday until 5 o'clock, I believe. And what the vendor show is, it's like a mini gun show. We have a lot of our sponsors, our corporate sponsors that support GCO, and also some other just businesses that offer products that GCO members would be interested. We set up what we call a vendor show, and it's like a mini gun show.
Now,
where you can go and you look at new products and talk to the vendors and buy stuff or whatever, and it's really good stuff.
So this is open for businesses to be able to get a table and get involved
definitely.
in. And who would a business, somebody who's here in the Atlanta area or somewhere around the state who has some products that they think would be, who would they contact?
Okay, who would they contact? What they would want to do is they would want to send an email to info@georgiacarry.org and ask for contact information for the vendor show, and they would be sent that information to contact the person scheduling tables. I'm not positive who's going to be doing that this year. I think it's going to be Bruce Greenfield again, but I'm not positive if Bruce is doing that.
Okay.
But if they send that email to info@georgiacarry.org, they can get them the right information for getting the vendor table.
And I'm assuming that at this date, there's still tables available, right?
Oh, there are definitely, and if we have to, we'll expand the venue. We have the ability. That's one of the great things about being the Renaissance there in Atlanta, is we can expand the venue if we have to, and expand by moving some partitions and make the room bigger. So we pretty much, we are limited to a degree, but I don't think we're limited to a degree that we can't fit some more tables in.
So Saturday we've got the vendor show. What else is going on Saturday?
We also have our seminars on Saturday, and that starts out at 9 o'clock and runs until I'm thinking they run until maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon there. And what it is, we just have different breakout sessions in different rooms where you can go and sit in and listen to somebody talk about NFA Trust, for example, or talk about how to build your own AR, or talk about women's carry issues. There's some seminars that are directed toward things like that, and basically just different things that you can go to and get some information. There's a meet the board session where we have all the board members together, and I believe that's going from 2 to 3 o'clock in the Highlands room, and all the board of directors are there. All the board director members are there, and you can ask them questions and talk and all that kind of thing. That's always usually pretty popular.
Well, let me ask you a quick question on that.
Sure.
I know that you were involved in the board session last year at the convention. What was the hardest question you got asked?
The hardest question?
Yeah.
There's never really any hard questions.
I got one for you.
I can't think of a hard question.
I've got one for you.
Oh, Jesse has a hard question for you.
Which one is it, Chuck? 1911 or Glock?
Oh, it's always in 1911. That's not a hard question at all. That's an easy question.
You know, when we were interviewing the people from each of the individual chapters, we asked that question off air, and every single chapter leader said 1911.
But the sad part was...
Well, we require that of chapter leaders.
The sad part was, after that recording, for some reason it didn't get saved, so we had to re-record it, and of course that question wasn't in our re-recording. So.
Yeah. But no, that's really, you know, an exciting opportunity for people to be able to get involved and talk to the board. And I think that that's a great thing that you guys do.
It's great, and we like the feedback because, you know, our members are the heart and soul of GCO. Members are how we get everything done. Members are how we make any accomplishments. You know, it's not the board doing anything. It's the members. When they get that email saying, call your legislator on this, call your legislator on that, they do it.
Absolutely.
And that's what gets things done.
We're coming up on a commercial break, so we're going to take a short break, folks. We're going to be right back with Mr. Turney to talk about the rest of Saturday and the wrap-up of the convention. So stay tuned. We will be back in just a minute right here on your local station.
And now, back to GeorgiaCarry.org radio with Doug and Jesse King.
Welcome back, everybody. This week on GeorgiaCarry.org radio, we have Chuck Turney, who is a member of the board and who is walking us step by step through the upcoming convention. And Chuck, what dates are the convention this year?
The convention this year is August 14th and 15th. That's a Friday and Saturday.
Those are days to mark on your calendar now because the convention sells out fast.
Definitely dates to get on your calendar, and every year when we announce the convention, go ahead and set those dates aside because you don't want to miss it. It's the best time of the year. It really is.
Yeah, and now when we took our commercial break, you were talking a little bit about what things were going on Saturday, and you said that there was the vendor show, and then there were these breakout sessions where
seminars, yeah,
and even a chance to see the board get peppered with questions left and right. So after that busy of a morning, midday, what's next on the agenda?
Well, we're coming into the Saturday evening, and we have our pre-dinner cocktail hour, and that starts about 7 o'clock, or 5 o'clock rather, it goes to 7 o'clock. And during the pre-dinner cocktail hour, we have silent auction items out where, there's different things that have been donated by sponsors, and you can go and put silent auction bids on them, like any other type of a fundraising event you might come across.
Now, I have
always some great
I have a
stuff
question.
There.
Where do I put in a request for an event? Like, who do I talk to?
To request an event?
Yeah, I think that it would be really awesome if we could get everybody that's toting a gun to do karaoke.
Oh, my goodness.
Karaoke.
Gun-toting karaoke.
Gun-toting karaoke.
That sounds a lot like something that you'd want to take to one of our chapters and have them put something together like that.
Hey, we even know a DJ that does karaoke that is a Georgia Carry member.
Yeah. Now
there you go. I mean, talk to one of the local chapters and see about putting something like that together. I know we're doing in South Georgia. We're going to be having a barbecue and shoot coming up in I believe it's next month that the Valdosta chapter is putting together.
Oh, that's
and
neat.
That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that in the Atlanta metro area too. I think the South chapter is doing something like that. So, one of the things that came to my mind is, and I think that a lot of people who are listening to this show who may not be a GeorgiaCarry.org member or as familiar with firearms would say, "Hey, wait a minute, aren't these people all carrying guns? And now you're talking about cocktails? How does that mix?"
Well, the thing is our members, and like all folks that go through the process of obtaining a license and all that, they tend to be very safety conscious and very, what's the word I'm looking at, civically minded, and they're not going to be the ones that you got to worry about going out and getting lit and shooting up the place. The folks that don't go through the folks that don't go through all the legal hurdles to meet the state's requirements to exercise their rights are the ones that you got to worry about. The folks that don't care about the law that says that you have to have a license to carry in Georgia are going to be the folks that don't care about the law that says that you get drunk and shoot up a bar too.
Well, that was something that I wanted to ask you. I mean, have you been doing this cocktails and carry every year that you've had the convention?
Every single year.
And how many incidents have you had?
None.
Absolutely none.
I knew that was coming.
Absolutely none.
Because you don't have the incidents.
If you look at Georgia history, even since it's been legal to drink or to carry in places that serve alcohol, like for a while, all we had was restaurants that served alcohol. You could carry in there, and there was no law, and there still is no law against having an alcoholic beverage while carrying. Mm-hmm. And then we expanded that to being able to carry in bars also, and still there has been no incidents of people with a legal right to carry with that license being an issue of shooting up a place or causing an incident or anything like that. So, I mean, it's just another case of the other side of the fence, folks, the folks that don't want people to carry. They always say, oh, well, folks are going to get drunk and shoot a waitress because she dropped his order of hot wings. Well, it's not going to happen.
You should have seen the look on Jesse's face when you said that. That was a priceless moment.
Hooters will never be safe again.
Yeah. So I think that's a great point. I think that a lot of people would misconstrue it and try to make it into something that it's not. But here we have years of conventions, never had an issue in the state of Georgia. So after the cocktail hour, then what's up on tap after that?
Well, I was going to talk more about the cocktail hour first. Like I said, we have the silent auction where you can sign up for items that you want to bid on, that kind of thing. And then at the end of the cocktail hour, we have a cutoff time when all of the silent auction bids stop, and then all those sheets are collected up, and we announce the winners during the dinner. We also have the zombie shoot still going on during the cocktail hour, the airsoft zombie shoot. That's a lot of fun.
So you can get intoxicated and shoot at zombies with airsoft? That's
exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then at 7 p.m. We all adjourn into the ballroom for the dinner, for the evening dinner and all, and where we have our guest speaker. And this year it's Ken Blanchard, and I don't know if a lot of the listeners know about Ken. Ken is the author of the book Black Man with a Gun. He also has a blog of the same name.
Okay.
Huge background in firearms rights and more specifically civil rights. As applied to firearms things that are firearms issues, that kind of thing. He's a Marine, Central Intelligence Agency employee for a while. Big background in training and self-defense and all that kind of thing. And also, I anticipate it's going to be a really good speech. Should be real good. And also something I forgot to point out is that Saturday at noon. The life members that are present are having a special lunch with the guest speaker. That's something new that we started last year, and we've been doing it. We decided to keep doing it. Is that the life members that attend the convention get to have lunch with the speaker on Saturday, also the guest speaker, and that's always a great time and a special chance for a little one-on-one with the guest speaker.
And it's nice to see more opportunities become available for people who make the commitment for a life membership, which really isn't even that expensive. I mean, it's $500 for a lifetime. And,
no.
From what I hear, you can do it in payments.
It was a great deal when our annual memberships were $15, but now that the annual memberships have had to move up to $20 to, account for expenses and that kind of thing, then it's even better deal for the life membership. But you're right, it's just a little way of GCO saying to the life members, hey, we recognize that you've made this commitment, not just financially, but a commitment to the cause, and we want to give you a little bit of a pat on the back and a reward for that. So it's great. It's good stuff.
It is a good opportunity, and it helps people get more involved. So is that kind of the end of the day when it comes to the convention then?
Well, we have the guest speaker, and then also during the dinner we have our live auction, which we have firearms that get auctioned off and different things. One of the items that'll be auctioned off this year, I'm proud to announce again, will be a dove hunt with Board of Directors dove hunt, which every year the board comes down to beautiful Ty, Georgia, at Treeland Ranch, and we have our annual dove hunt and board meeting, and we will auction off 2 seats for that dove hunt, which includes, a barbecue afterwards, that kind of thing. And it's a great time. It's a really good time.
So I have to ask, do you barbecue the doves?
Well, we do grill the doves. Yeah, they're great. You take them and you wrap the breast in bacon and you put it on the grill. So delicious.
I'm all about the food.
You put one on top of your head, your tongue will beat your brains out trying to get to it. It's so good.
Wow. So, this is, a great thing to be doing. And the money that's raised from these raffles and these auctions.
All of the money raised all goes into GCO's war chest to keep fighting the fight. Exactly. And that, and the convention isn't about fundraising, although as the fundraising chairman, I'm concerned with fundraising. But, the convention is more about getting everybody together for camaraderie and enjoying the company of each other and that kind of thing. And, we have some fun and we raise some money at the same time, with the auction items and the raffle items, that kind of thing.
Chuck, I didn't know you were the one in charge of fundraising. That explains why the fun is in fundraising with GCO.
Yeah, I've been the fundraising chairman, ever since GCO has had a fundraising chairman. So, I started with GCO as the fundraising chairman right after we formed, and a little while later, the board decided that there was a spot on the board, and they'd like to invite me to join the board also, and the rest is history. But it's I'll tell you what, it's been a great ride, and I cannot believe the amount of progress that we've been able to make in the short time we have since GCO came into being. It's just, and it's all a testament to being able to have members that believe in the cause and do what you ask. And you don't have to have a budget of millions of dollars to get things done. We've proven that you can get things done at any level, at a state level or a national level, if someone were to apply it, simply by having dedicated members that are willing to make that phone call. Well, and you don't have to beat them up for donations, and you don't have to beat them up for sending in money or the earth's going to fall apart or anything like that. You'll never get an email from GCO saying send money now or everything's going to hell in a handbasket. It's not going to happen.
Well, we have such great members who are involved. We also have people like you who are willing to sacrifice their time and devote their energies to this without compensation, who are working hard, who have been in it from the beginning, who have invested hundreds and hundreds of hours to try to make everything work. And this is just a great opportunity. We are so grateful that you came.
It's a labor of love. It's a labor of love. I mean, you got to believe in what you're doing.
We're so grateful you came on the show, Chuck. We will be in contact again in the future. We're going to head for a commercial break, folks. When we come back, we'll be talking a little bit more about the convention and upcoming GCO stuff, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
And now, back to GeorgiaCarry.org Radio with Doug and Jesse King.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, that was really a great interview with Mr. Turney. I think that we got a lot of information about the upcoming convention and the fact that you can register now for it because it's filling up fast. And I know he said that there's going to be opportunity for vendors to be able to get tables, and they can even expand if they get more than they have room for right now. And that's one of the great things about the Waverly Hotel, the Renaissance Waverly right here in Atlanta. And here's an opportunity for people to get involved and to get to know each other and buy tickets now and be able to save a little money over the cost of at-the-door tickets, which is always a plus. And if you register now, you can get your hotel rooms at a discount. Remember, Mr. Turney told us that they offer a discount for people attending the convention to be staying right there at the hotel.
Yeah, but I couldn't begin to say what those discounts are.
No, but it is definitely a cost-saving measure to get in.
I know that when
early.
we talked to him about that, the rooms were limited. So if you're wanting to get a discount on those rooms, you need to go ahead and get on the ball.
Yes, right now. So this is an exciting thing, and we really appreciate him being on and talking about the upcoming convention. Now, I think we should segue here into our traditional good, the bad, and the ugly segment so that we can cover some of the news, local, state, and national, that it's affecting Georgia gun owners left, right, and center. So tell us, Jesse, what's the good news this week?
I kind of found this one humorous. It's not about Georgia, but I'm sure that all Georgians can appreciate when Colorado Republicans push to eliminate gun control laws passed by dumb Democrats. And, of course, I'm saying they're dumb because they passed gun control laws.
There we go. And, this is something that is near and dear to all of our hearts because we've been fighting for years to get these bad laws off the book here in Georgia.
They're going to pass more.
And that's the problem. I mean, every time we turn around, there's somebody trying to pass more laws that are defeating the progress we've made. So it's constant vigilance is required. And here we have Colorado, its legislature, doing the exact same thing, trying to repeal laws which were taking effect that hurt the state. Now, the Colorado law that I'm thinking of most is the 10-round magazine ban, which actually led, I believe it was Magpul. 15.
It's 15-round limit, and today is their last opportunity to repeal that law.
Wow. And I know Magpul had promised to pull out of Colorado and move their headquarters when that law was first passed. I remember reading about that. And then there was all this questions. I was driving back through Montana, and my co-pilot looked over at me and was like, are we going to go through Colorado? Because who wants to drive through that state with their new weapons bans in place? So this has got attention all around the country of what they had done.
Yeah, and now the Republicans in the state go, you know what? That's not so great. Let's fix that. Of course, it's still a Democratic-run Senate over there, so they're going to be fighting them to tooth and toenail trying to get it straightened out.
Well, I think that it generated enough buzz when they first passed it that a lot of Democratic senators and members of the House there lost their seats in the upcoming election because they had voted for this thing that nobody really wanted.
They didn't need their seats anyway.
I mean, this was a reaction to the theater shooting. This was something that was kind of knee-jerk, and they saw an opportunity, and they went for it. But the citizenry of Colorado are not like New York or California.
I saw, of course, these cartoons that people put all over Facebook. And I had this little girl, and she says, well, I'm safe in this store. It says no guns. Of course, the criminals won't bring their weapons in here. That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, we said we gonna illegalize marijuana, and everybody stopped using marijuana, right? That's how that worked, right?
Well, Colorado's fixed that too, didn't they? Aren't they the state that went the other way?
State, yes. Federally is still an issue. So I guess you could still be charged federally. That is, if the Obama administration hasn't signed some kind of executive order. I believe they may have. You know how that goes.
Yeah. Well, here we have a state that is kind of turning the tide back. And we saw a lot of these bills come up. In New York, the SAFE Act, which made it so that you couldn't have a magazine with more than 8 rounds in it, and made a lot of the cosmetic functionality of an AR-15 illegal. And I know I personally have friends who lived in New York who turned all their guns over to other friends rather than have to turn them into the state because they were not qualified under the SAFE Act. And you see the same thing in Massachusetts and in California. But Colorado was really an outlier, and it was really a crown jewel for the gun control lobby to say, hey, even Colorado is signing on to this.
Well, but I have, another bad. I'm going to throw another bad in here. I know that's kind of off track a little bit. But did you see in the news today where the nation's first lead ammunition ban statewide was issued in California?
I did not see that, but it doesn't surprise me.
It's going to go into effect July 1st. No lead ammunition in California.
Well, it's not impossible to have lead-free ammunition. There's solid copper ammunition. There's steel shot. And in some instances, especially in waterfowl hunting, lead ammunition, the pellets from shotguns, the lead pellets are ingested by birds and it can kill them. And I can understand some of the practicality there in switching over to tungsten or steel. But when you're dealing with pistol ammunition, you're just tripling or quadrupling the price. I used for years. I would melt my own lead down into bullets and do my own reloading, and I was able to load 1911 rounds, in 45 ACP for 3 and 4 cents a shot.
They can't take away our firearms, so they're taking away our ammunition. That's what it boils down to.
Back to the M855 ban that was proposed a couple of weeks ago that we covered in detail. That's always the next step. If you can't attack the gun, attack the ammunition. If you can't attack the ammunition, attack carrying it. If you can't attack carrying it, make it so there's no place to shoot. And use zoning regulations to eliminate every place someone can go to practice.
It worked for Roswell with the chicken man, didn't it? God rest his soul. His birthday was this past week.
Yeah. God bless you, Andrew Word. He's a friend to us all. I mean, there are some sad things that have happened here in Georgia and around the country on ways that people have used this to try to restrict our rights. So there's some terrible bad. What else we got, Jess?
I have the ugly this week. Well, bad again. I went over the good, the new legislature in Colorado that's going to change, and then I kind of jumped to the bad because it was right connected with the good. They were in the same article. So I'm going to introduce another bad here. Was the Taurus curve. Have you seen that this thing has been recalled?
I did, and I think that's a really funny thing and why they're having to recall it.
It has something to do with the stamp that says what kind of ammunition it takes.
On the barrel of every firearm or on the slide of a semi-automatic pistol, there is a stamp that tells you what cartridge you're supposed to be putting into it. And, it'll say 357 mag or 38 S&W or 45 ACP or 45 auto, so you know what is the correct ammunition to be feeding in the thing. But here, Taurus sent out a whole bunch without that stamp.
Oops.
Now, that's a collector's item. If you can find one of those things, I'd snap it up. And just be sure you only put 38 special in it.
And I am going to go over the ugly now, and it's not me in a bikini this week.
Oh, you're definitely not ugly, my dear wife. Not in any swimsuit. And when we were on the beach the other day, I reveled in it.
Oh, thank you for putting that on the air. I'm going to have the producer edit that out. Thank you. So anyway, the New York Times apparently is blatantly lying about the NRA again, right?
The New York Times lie? What was that line from Men in Black? If you read the New York Times, sure, sometimes they get lucky, but if you read the National Enquirer, it's
right
on
all the time, yeah. Which is kind of true with somebody's sex scandal that got broke a few years ago. The Enquirer was the one that actually broke it. It was some politician. Anyway, they lied about the NRA annual convention, saying that we weren't allowed to take guns to the NRA annual convention, which is baloney. And so the story broke on April the 10th that says, in a scathing editorial this morning, the New York Times editorial board exciserated. I'm not sure if I'm saying that word right.
No.
The National Rifle Association for banning all working weapons from its annual convention in Nashville this weekend. So last weekend, there was a NRA convention in Nashville, Tennessee. Basically, New York Times says, they said they weren't allowed to take guns to their own convention.
This is a half-truth, because as I understand it, the NRA convention works like SHOT Show, where the display guns do have to be inoperable. So any gun that a vendor has got out there for you to handle and touch and play with and pull the trigger on has to be made inoperable. And most of the way that they do this is by removing firing pins and rendering the gun completely inert for people to handle it. But that doesn't have to do with carrying.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with carrying. And really, the New York Times, again, New York, they really don't know anything about guns, and they want to tell us all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it the most ignorant people want to tell you what you know about?
I have no idea. It just seems to be one of those undeniable truths of life. With this whole thing, it was in Nashville, correct?
Nashville, Tennessee, which is gun-friendly. In fact, I believe that Beretta is starting to build a facility somewhere near Nashville, if I've heard correctly.
I think that's right.
So
my friend Jim Scouten, he posted up on Facebook and said, Nashville, the safest city in America right now. Go NRA convention. And that really brought it home to me.
I kind of wondered where they had it, because that would be, if they had it somewhere downtown, that would be the first time ever that the intersection of 8th and Jefferson would be safe.
There you go. Well, this is something else that's true, is that they've documented that crime rates drop when the NRA convention comes to town. They documented that when they were in Indianapolis a year or two ago, and that how the crime rate decreased for the days that the NRA was there.
And you know why? Because the criminal's sitting at home and he's like, you want to go rob something today? And his buddy goes, no, the NRA people are here. I think this is a really bad idea. The chances of running up on somebody in a convenience store that is armed is way higher. I think we should stay home and watch TV.
Well, from the GCO convention to the NRA convention, there was the good, the bad, and the ugly. This week, we will be back in just a couple moments, folks, to talk about more Georgia Carry issues. Stay tuned on this, your local station.
And now, back to GeorgiaCarry.org radio with Doug and Jesse King.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to GeorgiaCarry.org radio, and Jesse and I have had a great opportunity today to talk to Mr. Turney about the upcoming convention. We covered the good, the bad, and the ugly, which ended up with the New York Times kind of besmirching the NRA's convention. And it's been kind of a convention-ish show. We've been talking about things that people can get involved in and be in part of and socialize. You know, the NRA convention that is just wrapped up was a great opportunity for people. This August, I expect to see everybody who's listening to this show at the convention here in Atlanta so that they can take place in the poker tournament and shoot some zombies with airsoft and maybe walk away with that prize pistol that's been put up by the shooting company.
I would like to say that we love to hear from our listeners. So if you have a question or an issue you'd like for us to discuss on the show
topics,
please feel free to send an email to
radio@georgiacarry.org.
and we will cover your topic.
Absolutely. We'll take questions on the air, too. If you send us a question, something that you'd like to hear an answer from a board member, we've got the direct line to Jerry Henry and obviously to Mr. Turney, James Camp, and a whole bunch of other board members. John Monroe will chime in. And I'm kind of hoping that in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some really exciting guests. I hear that Representative Timothy Bearden, who helped author House Bill 89 back there in 2008, will be on the show next week. And
week after, I believe.
Week after?
Not sure.
And, well, no, I think it is next week.
Maybe next week.
And he's going to discuss, what he did. And that man really is an amazing spokesperson. When he got into and involved with Georgia Carry, it just blew my mind. All the way to, I was down there at the federal courthouse when he was going to testify about what his bill meant when the judge didn't want to listen to whether or not Hartsfield-Jackson was an airport or not. I remember him saying that he was going to be willing to go down there and carry if that's what it took to prove the case, and he needed a good defense attorney. I mean, these are things that were just mind-blowing at the time, but here's someone who believes in the cause and is a great representative, represents his constituents well, represents all of Georgia well, and has a bright career ahead of him, and we can't wait to have him on air with us and Jerry Henry talking about what he's done in the past and what we're going to do together in the future. Also, I'm kind of working some angles here, Jess. I don't know if I've told you yet, but former President Ed Stone may be a future guest. I'm trying to get that lined up, and He was the original president, one of the founding four of Georgia Carry, who was there at that Shoney's that wonderful day when it got rolling. He's a very interesting man. He ran a blog about guns for a long time, highlighting gun issues nationally. He's a former police officer, so I'm going to give him a real hard time about that when we get him on. And
can we bring donuts that day?
I think that donuts would be a good idea. Yes, absolutely. So there's a couple of upcoming...
Donuts or bacon?
Donuts or bacon. Well, we love our law enforcement.
I'm just kidding. I love the cops.
There are people there who defend our rights and stand up for us, and unfortunately, there are some there who need to be taught a lesson about what freedom really means, and that's where John Monroe and the rest of the GeorgiaCarry.org legal team comes in to talk about. Hey, you can't just stop somebody because they're carrying a gun. That's not reasonable, articulable suspicion. And I was just reading. I haven't worked my way all the way through, but there's a case that just came out from the Court of Appeals talking about reasonable articulable suspicion and whether a person can go into a mall repeatedly after being asked to leave or not being asked to leave while carrying a firearm, and if there's the sole remedy is criminal trespass, or if the remedy can also be injunctive relief from a civil side. I mean, it's very complicated legal issues, but it's very interesting. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Belt, who was the named litigant in that from Georgia Carry. He's down there in the Savannah, Brunswick area doing good work, trying to expand freedom and hold up rights and put himself in harm's way, as it were.
Did I just understand you that Mr. Belt went repeatedly into a mall with a firearm?
I'm still reading through the case to get all the details down, but the court was talking at one point about how they understand that you can enter a private business with a firearm, but if you're asked to leave, that could be criminal trespass. But is there another remedy? Could you have not only criminal trespass, but could you also get a court to order a person not to go back kind of like a restraining order, but in this case, since there's not a person on the other end of that, instead of being a restraining order, it'd be injunctive relief. But this is a very interesting case that's bubbling along, and there's lots of things going on right now in Georgia Carry, and this is a big opportunity for people to get involved. And I've been saying that over and over today, because unlike an NPR pledge drive where you just send in some money and call it a day, GeorgiaCarry.org is a lot more than that. This is an opportunity for you to do something to change it. Mr. Turney was talking about that, how the members make all the difference, and that is the truth. The members get involved here. They make the calls. They get involved with the legislature. They're the ones who are involved in these lawsuits, the named litigants that give us the catalyst to get things moving. And this is important. So how do you get involved? How do you become a member of GeorgiaCarry.org? It's simple. You just go to the website, and for $20 a year, you can be a member. And for $500 a lifetime, you can become a lifetime member. That opens up all sorts of opportunities for you. Not only do you get to wear a special funny hat, it doesn't even have the propeller on top, I'm told, but you get to go to the convention.
Propeller-topped fez?
Not anymore.
Aww.
It was better when it was a battery-powered propeller fez, but you get to go to the convention and have lunch with a speaker every year. I mean, you're a part of a very elite group of people who are committed to Georgia Carry in so many different ways. And so there's your opportunity. You can join up online. You can also go to just about every gun show in the state and most festivals. I know the Big Shanty Festival is on the horizon, and that is a festival where people can get involved and go and join, and Georgia Carry is a sponsor of that and kind of stealing their thunder when they were like, well, you can't carry here. Well, guess what? We'll just sponsor you, and then everyone will know who we are. And that's one of the, the genius things about the name, even, GeorgiaCarry.org. We say it over and over again. When the AJC went to war with GeorgiaCarry.org and they were trying to bring them down, every time they said their name, membership took a jump.
Do you know what I think of every time you mention Georgia Carry's name, GeorgiaCarry.org?
What do you think, Jess?
You ever seen the Madagascar 2?
No.
The hippo. I think it was Madagascar too. His name is Moto, and he said it's a name so nice you have to say it twice.
There you go. Well, GeorgiaCarry.org, no matter who's reporting it, it gets the message out, and that's the exciting thing. The AJC, and this might be a topic to discuss with Ed Stone when we finally get him on. The AJC really decided to take GeorgiaCarry.org on. I remember when Jerry Henry was here, he was telling us that they even started reporting the name wrong, calling it GeorgiaCarry.com or GunCarry.org or GunCarry.com.
That's because they don't want to give any publicity, because apparently every time that GeorgiaCarry.org's name showed up in the AJC, the membership went through the roof.
Yeah.
Like, it became a membership drive for us every time they would mention us in the newspaper.
Absolutely. And so they were trying to circumvent it. So you know what happened? Matt Knighton went out there and registered all those domain names. Whatever they would put the name as being incorrectly, he would go and snap it up and redirect it to GeorgiaCarry.org.
Good for him.
We've got the fundraising coordinator, we've got the membership coordinator, we've got all these coordinators. There's no dirty tricks coordinator, but my goodness, that would be one for the record book right there, where you snapped up all of the domain names.
It's like, it's all right, I got this, man.
Yeah. And it doesn't get much better than that. People who really believe in the cause and really want to get involved and who are excited about this.
So, final answer, Doug King. Are we going to the convention or not?
I think that we should, Jess.
I think that I'd really enjoy that.
I think that you would be a rock star. Now, folks, let me tell you this.
Rock star? Hardly.
Yeah, well, yes, you say no, but it's true.
I'm going to wear my ugly bikini.
when we went to the local chapter meeting, okay, I have been involved in GeorgiaCarry.org for years, right? And I walk in, and does anyone say, "Oh, hey, it's Doug"? No, but first thing I hear,
that's not true. Mark Gilbert was like, "Hey, Doug."
Yeah, Mark Gilbert. Hey, Mark. Shout out for week number 3. Yeah, Mark recognized me, but when we walk in the door, what is the first thing that they say? "Oh, you must be Jesse from the radio."
And I just kind of blinked because I've never had anybody know who I am before.
You're being led around through the crowd. Everyone's shaking your hands. They want your autograph. Yeah, come on. You were a rock star that day.
I'm a little shy, so that's hard for me. See, behind the radio, you get behind this microphone, nobody has to see your face.
That's the Rush Limbaugh's claim to fame, too,
You know what? He's got a valid point. Nobody has to see my face. My ugly mug doesn't get posted posted on any billboards or anything, and I like that.
And a new feature coming next week will be GeorgiaCarry.org Radio TV, where we'll be live streaming Jesse through this video camera which I have set up right here.
He is so full of it that his eyes are turning brown, y'all. Turning brown.
Well, folks, I think that we've had a great show today, and it's been an exciting topic and an exciting time to get more people involved and to pipe up this convention that we all want to go to so desperately. I hope that you have a great week, that you find an opportunity to get involved. Reach out to GeorgiaCarry.org, volunteer at a gun show.
Find us at the convention. Introduce yourselves. We'd love to get to know you.
And just send us an email. Send us an email and say hello from wherever you are. Also, reach out to your local stations and tell them, I'm not hearing GeorgiaCarry.org on my local station. I'm having to listen to it online. I want to hear it on this station, and let us know which stations you've reached out to. And we will contact them, teach them how to get us syndicated on your local station so you can listen to us every week without interruption, even when the internet is down. And I just hope that everybody has a great week, finds a way to get involved, and joins us again next week, right here on this station or online for GeorgiaCarry.org Radio with Doug and Jesse.
This has been GeorgiaCarry.org Radio with Doug and Jesse King. GeorgiaCarry.org is Georgia's no-compromise voice for gun owners. Tune in each week for valuable information on protecting your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. GeorgiaCarry.org Radio, Saturday mornings at 8, right here on News Talk 1160, the talk of the town.